Hey, good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome to another session of site planning. Um, we're going to do something a little bit different today, which is a presentation session of the site inventory exercise that you guys did a while back. Now, I realized that there was some confusion regarding the assignment submission. But yeah, that was in part my fault because uh, provided uh, I had not provided a clear enough instruction on what sort of documentation you need to submit and so on. But that's okay. And as a result, some of you may have submitted your document through my work email. Some of you may submit your document through Classroom, albeit a bit late. But no, again, no need to worry about that. As I mentioned, it is partially my fault. So I won't deduct any points. I won't deduct any points for those of you who submitted late, or for those of you who submitted your document through my work email. So as I said, we'll have a presentation on your on the results or the outcome of your site inventory exercise. And this is a site inventory with a bit of a twist, because you are not presenting your own site inventory, but you are presenting what you understand of your partner's site inventory. And the idea was that not only do you get to have a hands-on experience at conducting your own site inventory, but you also get a feel of how to communicate your site inventory to your peers. And then your peers will report the site inventory will present your site inventory to the class. So, without further ado, I'll stop sharing the screen at the moment. Oh, hang on! But before I stop sharing my screen, because most of us are here anyway, but just in case anyone else will join in a little later, um, I'll put the I'll put the I'll put the attendance code in the chat box for everyone to see, and for everyone to reshare. Should anyone join in a bit late? Right, I've got that out of the way. Any of you, if any of you feel that you're ready to present, you're more than welcome to do so. So so today's session is basically just a presentation of your well, not your work, but a presentation of your partner's work. And if you'd like, or if you decide to sort of present or report a comparison of your and your partner's work, that's fine. If you don't, that's okay. The main thing is that you're presenting your partner's work. Any of you, if any of you is ready, it shouldn't take too long per person. Let's say about anywhere between 10-15 minutes per person maximum. It'd be okay. Yeah, Peter.
Morning. I
Morning.
think we can go first. No problem.
Pardon?
We can go first. No problem.
Sure. That'd be great. Awesome. Thank you very much. If you need to share your screen with us, I've already unlocked the screen sharing option. So yeah, anytime you're ready.
Is it showing?
Yep, I can see your screen.
Okay. Thanks. Good morning. Good morning, Pananda. Good morning, my fellow students. I hope everyone is fine. Hope you're having a wonderful time. I'm going to present my friend's work. My partner's name is Biko. So I'm going to present his area, which is Bintaro. Bintaro, I think, is in South Tangerang. So I'm gonna go quickly. And my name is Peter, NRP 7004. So here's the content. Here are the contents. Talk about the introduction, the site inventory, the simple analysis, and then the conclusion and the comparison. I'm sure why the comparison is after the conclusion. I think it's worth it because we think I think if I finish the site of my partner, that's when I can try to compare, like see the differences. So that is the reason why the comparison is at the end. So the description of the site is it is located in Bintaro district, which is in South Tangerang. The population density is far less than Jakarta, which causes less traffic in there. The place is located near hospitals, schools, malls, and other trading services. So here's the area. From the map, we can see that where there's a junction here, near the junction house, Pinfish, Indonesia, but on the left, the first house, this is the place of my partner's. This is the house of my partner, and it's in Bintaro. And then we're going to do the site analysis, simple site analysis. Oh no, these are inventory. So we're going to talk about the physical attributes. So as for the soil, it is stable and durable. It can hold houses that are more than 2 levels. Soils may be durable, but the looks of it, it needs some minor fixes. I think it has holes on the streets. And then porosity, it could handle the type of rain, and the drainage is mainly stable. However, it can handle at heavy long rain, like 3 to 4 hours constant. Then the stability, the ground also doesn't shake when the transport, like for example, the vehicle is passing, so which means the ground is stable, and the ground also can handle earthquake and creates minimal damage. So I think that aspect only requires if the magnitude is not that high. And then there's topography. So the elevation is approximately 100 to 130 above the sea level. So we can see from this map, check online, specifically for the elevation here on the arrow. And then the slope of the house include the site are almost flat, include the street, and the site is almost flat. Most houses and the streets have the same slope. And the aspects is facing north west. I think there's some kind of an angle there, but not really sure. I haven't been there. Okay, the biological attribute is flora. So they have different types of trees. They have the Cambodian trees, and then they have the mango trees, and they have a park, a mini park growing project that provides a complete picture of Indonesia with all its contents in a mini form. And then the fauna, they have bats around there, they have cats, snakes, rats. So I think these are the, if it's for the cats, these are the common domestic animals that are available. So the cultural, so the land tenure status, most of the site is in the area where they are private homes. So, and then the land use, it consists of housing settlement and trading services located in private homes. So they sell items in their homes. So they have maybe some restaurants, maybe some warungs just within the neighborhood. And some of the trading services from transports such as bike and vehicles that rotate the neighborhood every day. So it's like they have also different type of transportation. They have bikes, they have vehicles, and so on and so forth. So there's, yeah, now the site analysis. As we can see from the map here, it's like the sun comes really from the north, and we have the winds also. So the winds are directed at the north, and most of the neighborhood fronts are covered with greens and trees. And then the floods are being present due to the presence of greens. So it's like the trees or the greens have really played a huge role to for the area not to have floods, something like that. Then we have the potential. So a couple of potential that can be found in the site area, having enough space for cars living an opposite direction without any congestion. Because traffic drainage condition is still stable, it will have low chance to get flooded, and the amount of greens in the area are a lot and stable with housing settlements. And then there's a problem. So there are pretty good potentials that can be found in the site area. However, there are some issues that are also found in this area, such as trees are being chopped due to uncomfortableness from the owner. Some of the houses have been renovated and enhanced. As a result, the differences between houses are visible. Some of the roads are still not good. For example, they have holes in the streets, so they haven't yet been maintained. Changes to be made. So maintaining conditions at its best, like maintaining the roads, can be a very good way to make change to the neighborhood. Keep an eye and stay alert about the damages that occur over the time. So they need to really renovate the roads and the drainages and other things. So there's a conclusion. The area in this site is filled with greens. However, the condition of the road need to be maintained as the same condition as the greens. So each house has different styles, which doesn't correlate with other houses. So which means the houses are different. It's not like it's that kind of those kind of houses where they are same, or there's a regulation that you need to build same houses. And then the drainage on the site is good and able to hold much water, even though the looks and the condition of it are not looking in good shape. Yeah, so this bit of some problems sometimes, like when it rains heavily, the drainage cannot hold that much. And then now we're talking about the comparison. So before these are the comparisons that we saw from my site and Bintaro site. So I won't talk much about my site because it's gonna be explained by my friend. I think if I explain this, which means I'm explaining my own. So what basically it is, from the Bintaro site, it's easy to, for the porosity, it's easy to absorb air during the rain, and the soil stability is pretty low. I think when it rains a lot, I think this is the situation. And then the topography, it's like low medium elevation, and then the slope balance to houses and streets. And then the aspect, since they have medium low aspect, there's a chance of flooding in the site area, like 2 to 3 hour rain. And then there's the flora. There's some similarities here and there, but I won't talk on my side. So there are mango trees, Cambodia trees, and yeah. And then there's also the fauna, the snakes, the most common animal, which are the cats. So the cats and the snakes, it's like they are natives. They are always on both sides. And then there's the Bintaro, and there's a legal, which is the cultural attribute. So mostly the land use is it's all about the housing and the trade services in this site. I think that's all from my side. Maybe Vico can continue. Vico, are you ready?
Yes, I think I'm ready, man.
Sure.
Sure. So, hello again. My name is Vico Rahan Wibisono. You can call me Vico. My NRP numbers is 003 or maybe 3. And so I'm going to presentate the other side, which is on the dormitory campus ETS from Peter. So actually, Peter wants to explain his side on Zambia, but he said that he doesn't have much time to regulate the analysis, so he decided to do it in the ITS campus. So here are the contents that are available in this site explanation. There will be the introduction, there will be the inventory, the site inventory, the simple analysis, and the conclusion. And also, I'm going to explain and expand more of the comparison too, since that we haven't Peter hasn't get the explanation from the campus site yet. And so here are the introductions for the site description in Peter's case, which is in the dormitory campus. So it is located in ITS campus, which I think everybody knows about this. It's on Block G dormitory. So it is the main information is in the Jalan Teknik Elektro. So to be specific, it's in Keputi, Sukolilo district in the heart of Surabaya in East Java province. So this dormitory is located close to ITS campus department, near to the medical centers and the canteen. And yeah, and so here are the site inventory. There, this is the physical attribute on this. So about the bearing capacity in the dormitory, the soil on the site supports the loads applied to the ground. So the site mostly consists of 4-story buildings. And I think everyone know, if they see the dormitory, they have like a big buildings that are looking like an apartment. So like they have a strong capacity for the bearings in the soil. The porosity, the soil on the site contains small rocks and have low holding capacity for water and become saturated quickly. So meaning by this state is that when it comes to raining, the streets becomes saturated quickly, and it creates unwanted molding on the streets. How about the stability? The stability in the soil is not easily washed away with the rainwater during the rainwater events. So here is the physical attribute of the topography. You can see that in the picture right here, they have the elevation for about 7 feet above the sea level. So the slope here in the dormitory campus, it has about it has a low percentage, like below 3%. So in the aspect is generally positioned on the lower, and it's kind of sloppy because it is prone to floods during the rainy seasons. And so here are the flora and the fauna biological attribute that are available in the dormitory ITS campus. We can see that there are a couple of local vegetations and the habitats that found in there. So the local vegetation will be the trees such as the guava trees, banana trees, pawpaw trees, the mango trees, and ashoka trees. And I'm going to explain the comparison later, and then see what kind of differences and the what kind of similarities found in the comparison. So the other one will be in fauna. Fauna is the habitats for endangered species. We can see that there's domestic cats, there's snakes, and also frogs in in near the dormitory in IDS campus. And so here are the cultural attribute in the dormitory. So in the legal sub attribute, the land tenure status land use is mostly composed of dormitory blocks, the ponds. So there is a canteen beyond the 100 meters radius. I think everybody here have experience of the canteen in the IDS campus before the pandemic. So I think everyone know where the canteens are located, and the how yeah how it looks and how it is. Yeah, how what I'm sorry, it's like the person. So here are the site analysis, the simple analysis that Peter, which is my partner, create and illustrates. So this is the features and uh, the the illustration of the picture in the dormitory G in ITS campus. We can see that the rooms of the dormitory are not affected by the sun's dazzle, as the windows and the doors are positioned north and south. So during rainy and windy days, the winds mostly come from the west, ever since that they have different the weather sites, and they have different directions. So, and then there are canteens beyond the 100 radius where students meet and eat. So there is a pond on the side where people do fishing. And so here are the challenges on the dormitory sites from Peter's aspect, which is in the dormitory ITS. So there are things that doesn't work. So there are the fact that the sites has a lower side on prone to floods. So there are drainages on the side, but when it rains heavily, floods occur. So which means that the drainage here cannot hold much water during the events of the heavy rain. So like if it's a small event of rain, it can handle. But when it comes to a long event rain, for example, like 3 to 4 hour rains, I don't think they can handle it that much, and it will cause floodings. And so what changes to make this problem better? It can create clean and unblock, and making the drainage wide enough. So making the meaning in this section is that we need to improve the amount of drainage in ITS, in the dormitory ITS. And so here are the conclusion for this site, which is in dormitory campus. So there are quite numbers of differences on both locations due to differences in physical and biological attributes. However, there are some similarities on the soil capacity in this site. And there are similar trees on both sides, which is in mango tree, and also the kind of fauna such as snakes and cats. So the land use is by far different on both sides. The dormitory site is composed of dormitory blocks, pond, canteen, and medical center, while the Bintaro site has housing complex and trade services. And lastly, both sites are prone to floods due to heavy rains. This happens because of the low aspect in both locations. So I think that in this conclusion, this is the combination between two sites from Bintaro, which is on my side, and sites from the dormitory ITS, which is from Peter. And in the next slide, it will be an advanced comparison, which Peter explained half of them. So I guess I'm going to explain most of them since Peter side has been explained. So we can see that the porosity they have in the dormitory, they have it contains small rocks and have low holding capacity for water and became saturated quickly. But on the other side, which is in Bintaro, they have an easy way to absorb air during hard rain. Um, I think I think it mentioned water, not air. So it's like the drainage and the soil can hold much water, so it doesn't flood. So the stability in both of them has a low condition. In the topography, we can see that there's a difference with there's a little bit difference with the elevation and slope because it is located in different places and it has different needs and aspects. And so here are the comparison between the biological attribute and the cultural attribute. So I think that there are some similarities in biological attribute, such as the mango trees. So the mango trees are like a tree that produce food supply, such as mango. I think everybody knows that. And one of the same thing in the fauna that is that they have snakes and also cats. So I think that in Indonesia it is common to see cats around. And in cultural attribute, the comparison is that in the uh, in the dormitory, the land is mostly composed of dormitory blocks and ponds. However, no, the dormitory has canteens and other things. However, the lanterner in the Bintaro has housing and trade services. Yeah, I think that's the end of the presentation from me and Peter. We decided to compile and combine with the presentations with the two of us. So I think that it's better for us to expound this detail and explanation, and then we can discuss about the what kind of comparison that is visible and that are not visible. Yeah, I think that's all from us. Thank you very much for listening.
Wow, thank you guys. We're off to a pretty good start, and that was better than I had expected. There are some. I think I'm. I have a hunch that there will be some very general feedback that I will give across the whole class. Um, for Specifically for you guys, um, I would say for physical attribute data such as soil, um, you you can obtain um, a more general and a more general or a more regional scale information. I think it should be available in local spatial or in local development plans. the type of soil that is typically found um, in a region. So, for example, in Bintaro or in the Greater Jakarta area in general, what types of soil are available, and in the Greater Surabaya area in general, what types of soil, and the types of soil also determine their porosity or their capacity to absorb water and also their stability. So if you draw that back to the prone for flooding bit, for example, the dormitory area. I know our campus is a technological institution, Institut Teknologi, yet we still have issues with we're still struggling to deal with the most common issue of all, which is flooding. But that might have something to do with the drainage, the soil type, and the ratio of built and natural areas. There is one type of species that animal species that Peter might have left out, and that is this is typically found around ITS, the water lizard or biawak. It used to be so common. That I think at one time the mechanical engineering department had to cancel one of their either mid-semester exams or their end-of-semester exams because a couple of water lizards stormed in their class. So that wasn't a very good day for everyone, I suppose. I'm not sure if that's still. I'm not sure if that occurrence is still common, but that's what used to happen when I attended ITS as a student. Another common sight to see was another common animal to see were goats, because we have drovers, shepherds who take their goats to ITS to graze. But all in all, congratulations. There are congratulations on a job well done, you guys. Yeah, I think we can move on before I give out the more general feedback. So once again, thank you. Give yourselves a well-deserved pat in the back, and now I'd like to provide the time and screen for the next group or the next student to present their work or their partner's work, to be exact.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but my friends Kaidi haven't attended yet, so I think I'll just skip his part. So without further ado, the site inventory of my friend Kaidi's resident and myself. Here's the content. We do the same. We do the physical attribute, the biological attribute, the cultural attribute. It contains soil and topography, flora, fauna, land tenure, and land use. So here's the first site. This is Kaidi's resident. It's in Lampung. He stay in Jalan Imam Bunjuk, Gang Waluh, Kemiling Subdistrict, Bandar Lampung. and it has one main entrance from the east. The red arrow is point at his house. So next is the facilities. In Kaidis area, there is commercial facilities which is Alfamart Indomart. It's about 150 meters to the south, and worship facilities. There is Baitul Mustaqim Musola. It's about 200 meters to the north. And for the physical attribute, first is the soil, the bearing capacity. It says that throughout the site, the bearing capacity only able to handle a house with one floor. And for the porosity, there is a sufficient water infiltration because the green open space area, which is planted with quite a lot of plant. And even though it is seems small, it is quite helpful. Plus that every houses in the area have their own green own space. And this is the image of the garden of every houses in Kaidis area. And for the stability, it is quite stable, and there are no records of landslide at this site. For the topography, the elevation, the Kaidi site is located in altitude of 237 meter up to 239 meter above sea level, but the average of Bandar Lampung varies. But the elevation of Bandar Lampung varies between 6 to 400 meter above sea level. And the slope, it's quite flat, and it is at estimate that have a slope of 0 to 2%. The aspect of the site is facing southeast because the elevation in the northwest is higher than the south. So the climate, here's are the drawn picture of Cadiz area. For the wind movement from the house point of view, it is from south to north and vice versa, because every day there is change in wind direction, and sometimes the wind speed is faster in the afternoon, he say. And the path of the sun pass almost directly over the site from east to west direction, just like the image. For the biological attribute, the fauna is only wild cats and resident chicken, the farm chicken. And for the flora, it seems there are many trees, including avocado, mango, water guava, starfruit, and banana tree. These are the photos that Kadi taken in the area. And for the cultural attribute, the land tenure, he said that for land ownership has been certified, and all land has the status of family or private ownership, except the complex material swimming pool and mass displays are used for common interest. I think this is side to cultural attribute. This is wrong slide. Yeah, it's the same. Sorry, I haven't updated. So for the land use of Kaidi's house. No, this is my land use. Land use is approximately is for residential use. This is the map. I think if I get from the image, I think it's all for the residential use because you can see this all the roof. You can see all the roofs from the housing. So should I discuss about mine or no, sir? Kaidis haven't attended yet. Hello.
Yep.
Okay, so the second site is on Depok. Is my house is located on Cibubur in Depok. Is in Jalan Raya Alternatif Cibubur, Harjamukti in Cimanggis Subdistrict. To get to this location from Jakarta, there is Jagorawi Toll access, exit at Cibubur Tollgate. The facilities, there is two.
I'm sorry, Arik. And I have to stop you right there because this particular section is not your responsibility to present. It's you're not obliged to present this. This is supposed to be a part. Yeah, this is supposed to be Kaidi's portion. So you can skip that, and I think it's a bit difficult to make a site comparison without having the explanation, without having Kaidi's explanation first. That's fine. So thank you for your thank you very much for your for presenting. Thank you very much for presenting Kaidi's work. It's too bad that he can't join us this morning to present your inventory. Well, okay. I think I'm starting to see a pattern that emerging from the three sites that have been presented so far. But yeah, so I think I'll leave the general. I'll leave the general feedback until towards the end of today's class. But thank you, Arik, for sharing with us. Anybody else would like to step up? You're more than welcome to turn your mic on and begin. Okay, great. Thank you.
Davin will share the screen.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Me and my friend will explain about our site's inventory. So for the area, the first site is in Bandung, which is Amira Kirina House, and second one is in Surabaya, which is my house. Okay. For the Bandung area, Amira Kirina's residence is located in Sekajati, Buah Batu, Bandung. It is near several puskesmas and hospitals, and it is also surrounded by many schools and universities, support center, governmental agencies, business office, shopping center, shops, and other commercial establishment. So for the analysis of the main site corridor, the sun path passes almost directly above the site. The moderate wind is coming from the northwest, which has higher elevation than the site area. The noise dominantly comes from Soekarno-Hatta Street, as it is the main big road where all vehicle classes pass by, and the connector with other cities around the west-northeast Bandung area. So for the topography, we use the Google Earth Pro to determine the elevation in the study area. The elevation is 678 meters above the sea level, and the study area has a flat slope, like less than 8%, and for the land surface, the district mostly has a flat or undulating shape. For the microclimate, influenced by the humid and cool mountainous climate, the max temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. For the minimal temperature is 28 degrees Celsius. For the rain is 600 millimeter per year. Number of days with the most rainfall is 45 days. For the soil in East Bandung, the soil type consists of the distribution of gray alluvial types with clay sediment. This type of soil comes from slate carried by river water in the lowlands, which has a high mineral content. It has a low pH level and low phosphorus and potassium content. So for the local vegetation, for the biological attribute, the flora variant in the main site area consists of the local vegetation planted by the residents itself. There are many types of plants, namely ornamental plants, fruit plants, and medicinal plants, like sapodilla plants, bougainvillea, pucuk merah, palm trees, longan plants, and types of aloe vera. And for the fauna wildlife, in the study, there are stray cats and oriental magpie robin's birds. Usually, the stray cats are easily found in the neighborhood because they do their daily activities with the residents. For example, the residents give the food waste to the stray cats almost every day. So the stray cats like to play and roam around the area, while oriental magpie robin birds usually come in the morning by making unique sounds. And then the cultural attribute. First is the land tenure status. The most of the land area private properties. Only one land is owned by the government, which has used as a state house, and there is no properties are for sale or rent. For the land use itself, used as residential area, and the utilization of GOS also fill the area. And for the infrastructure, there are adequate road and drainage system, electricity, lighting, clean environment, and security post. For the advantage and recommendation, first, the advantage is each attribute from the physical aspect complement each other well. The application of GOS and clean environment, and the last is supported by well maintained facilities and infrastructure. For the disadvantage itself, there are abandoned lands, and the heavy traffic jam often occurs just in front of the residence entrance. And for the recommendation, it would be better if the neighborhood association obligate every owner of the land to be responsible for their land, so the unused land will not bother the other neighbors. And second is the further involvement in traffic planning from the municipal government and other related parties are needed.
I am going to present my partner's corridor site. It is located in Kenjeran, Bulak, Surabaya. It is near several amusement parks like Atlantis Land, Fishing Pond, Water Park, and some of sports center like soccer field, horse field, and badminton court. It is also surrounded by many schools, several tombs, place of worship, post office, and various kinds of shops. And this site area also located in a residential beach of the sun on the Hampton cluster. To be precise, it is located far from the main road, but it is equipped with adequate facilities such as a shop that sells daily necessities, and also equipped with clubhouse facilities that contain a place to exercise, and there are also swimming pool. The residential area also located not far from the Suramadu Bridge, which is Indonesia's natural bridge that connects Java and Madura Island. Next. This is the analysis of the Dauphin's main site corridor. The path of the sun crosses over the site, and the wind comes from the west and comes from the sea at night, and the dominant noise from settlements near Kenjeran Beach and Kenjeran Beach Road. And this is the site inventory of Dauphin's corridor area. The first one is physical attribute. For the topography, we also use Google Earth Pro to determine the elevation in this study area. The elevation in the area is 3 meters above the sea water level. And for the land slope, the Bulak sub-district has a slope of less than 3%. For the microclimate, in general, Surabaya, Indonesia has a tropical climate like the other big cities with 2 seasons, and the temperature of Surabaya city is quite hot, which is an average between 22.6 to 34.1, with an average air pressure between 1005.2 to 1013.9 millibars and humidity between 42% to 97%, and the average wind speed per hour, which is 12 to 33 kilometers, and the average rainfall is between 120 to 190 millimeters. For the soil, just like in my corridor area, it is mostly alluvial, where there is a spread of alluvial deposits as evidenced by the remains of old oil wells. And this soil formed from silt and fine sand that has undergone erosion, and its fertility is highly dependent on the mother and climate. Next. For the biological attributes, for the flora also consists of local vegetations that planted by the residents, and there are also many types of plants, namely ornamental plants and medicinal plants, and there are like Walisongo, pohon dolar, Sansevieria trifasciata, Song of India, jungle geranium, Kamboja, Jepang, Bintaro, and Lee Kuan Yew plant. And for the fauna, it is the same with my corridor as well. There are stray cats and the oriental magpie robin birds. For the cultural attributes, the land tenure status, all parts of the land in the Dauphin's corridor are privately owned. Some of the land in the study area can be found properties that are still for sale, and there are also properties for rent. And for the land use, most of the land uses in Dauphin's corridor are residential. There are several lands that are used as schools, shops, amusement parks, and sports centers. Also, the use of green open space fills the area, and each property has several plants in front of its land. For the infrastructure, Dauphin's study area fairly filled with adequate road covered in paving, which is neatly laid out so that is easy on the eye, so that it is comfortable to use for sports and driving. The drainage system at this site also neatly closed, so that is not visible, and is also well maintained, so that there is no excess inundation or flooding. And along the road, also equipped with good lighting at night, and the environment is kept clean because the housing team prepares sweepers who work every day that diligently clean the leaves that are scattered on the streets. And there is also no pile of garbage visible within eye reach. And in the Dauphin's corridor area, these are the advantage, disadvantage, and the recommendation. And also, it is not really different with my site. For the advantage, from the physical attributes that displayed, it can be seen that each attribute complements each other well. By that means, the type of soil in nature is alluvial, tends to have smart pores that will absorb water well, supported by the location of the site, which is at a slope of about 3%, which can help with heavy water flow. So there is little chance of water accumulation. And also a clean environment has fought for an area to maintain balance in the system. It is also supported by well-maintained facilities and infrastructure that make it easier for residents to carry out their daily activities. For disadvantage, there is an unpleasant smell from settlements located not far from the housing. Precisely during the daytime, the residents of the area usually carry out activities to dry the salted fish for their merchandise, and the road conditions in that cluster is still damaged or can be said to be holes, so it is not comfortable to pass while driving, and there are puddles when it rains. And for the recommendations, for the case of the unpleasant odor that occurs, the residents of the housing may have to give in because it can be said that the cause of these unpleasant odors come from one of the people's livelihoods in the settlements. Meanwhile, for housing road conditions that are not good enough, it is the responsibility of the management to repair it for the convenience of the residents of the housing itself. So this is the comparison between my corridor and Davin's corridor area from the physical attribute. As we can see, the main difference is the topography attribute. Since my site is located in the higher area, since Bandung area itself located in the valley between mountains, meanwhile Davin's site is located in the seashore in the northern area of Surabaya. Next. And for the biological attribute, it is mostly the same between my and Davin's site. For the local vegetation, both sites have a number of useful ornamental plants with different types, but my site has fruit plants such as sapodilla plants and longan plants. And also both sites have stray cats and oriental magpie robin birds as the wildlife objects.
So for the comparison of cultural attributes, the legal aspect is mainly the same, except the Kiraina site has one land. It is owned by the government to be used as a state house. Since the both sites are located in the housing complex, the land use is the same, namely residential and GOS. The Davin site has more facilities such as a playground and a clubhouse. Nonetheless, the both sites have supporting infrastructure and facilities such as adequate road and drainage system, electricity, lighting, clean environment, and security post. And for the conclusion from the analysis and the comparison, it can be seen that there is not much difference between Kiraina site and my or Davin sites. The advantage from both sides related to the physical aspect, which complement each other well and being supported by adequate infrastructure and facilities. Despite the similarity, the disadvantages come differently. The problem from Kiraina sites tend to be related to individuals' behavior because the unused land that is abandoned by its owner and low mobility caused by traffic jams from the traffic system of the big main street near it. On the other side, my sites or Davin sites, this advantage is coming from the external factors, namely the outside housing area. The outside cluster produced an unpleasant smell from certain activities and inadequate road condition. So that is from us. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much, guys. I guess if I I guess one thing that I picked up from the recent presentation is that it is easier to maintain harmony in the sense aesthetic harmony between one property to another if it's within if the buildings were if the houses were built in a residential cluster by private developers. If it's one of those independent lots, then most of independent lots or more organic communities, then most of the times the houses will look very individualistic, very different from one to another. But anyways, thank you very much again for that, for presenting your work. There are some general feedback that I'd like to give, but I'll keep that at the end of the session. Right. So
Thank you, sir.
thank you. Okay, cool. So who would like to go next? Awesome. Great.
So good morning, Mr. Pananda and friends. We're going to present our site, and the first is William's site, and the second is my site. And then first is William's site. So William's site is located in Cilupang Sub-District, Now Serpong, Tangerang, Banten, Indonesia, and it is the part of the Villa Melati Mas Residence. So this is the infrastructure near the Williams site. So first is supermarket, and then the second is Protestant church, and there is a toll gate, and then also a Catholic church. And for the topography, Williams site corridor, the slope is 0 until 3% that covers Ciputa district, East Ciputa district, Pamulang district, Serpong district, and North Serpong district. And then for the elevation is 30 meters above sea levels. And you can see from the map, the site aspect is facing north. And then there is the different height between the neighbor. And then this is happened because it separated the two residents as a part of the gate community concept. And for the geology and soils, and generally South Tangerang City is alluvium rock, which consists of clay, silt, sand, gravel, and limes. And judging from the distribution of soil type, generally South Tangerang City has association of red latosol and reddish brown latosol. So this is the Williams set. The rock type is alluvium rock, and the soil type is red latosol. And then this is the microclimate. The hottest month on October with 30 degrees Celsius, and the coldest month on February 28 degrees Celsius, and the wettest month is February, and the windiest month is on January. And then the winds come from all directions, but mostly comes from south. And then this is the floras, the common floras in Williams site. The first one is palm tree, and then the second one is gardenia, and the third one is pine tree, and then the last is magenta cherry. And then this is the common fauna from William site. First one is stray cat. And the second is sparrow. And then in Willemstad, there is a green open space, and then I think it's a quite big green open space in Willemstad. And then for the land tenure, because this is the residential, all of the land are privately owned, and there is no land or buildings are open for rent or sell. And therefore, the land use itself mostly is the residential and green open space. And this is the potential and the problem. The potential is Willemstad is located near green open space and a small river, and it really helps to set porosity. The small river has never been overflowed, and the green open space provide big trees that can help with the water absorption, so there is no flooding in Willemstad site. And the second potential is the flat surface also made the site never expand landslide. The difference elevation with the neighboring village is enforced with embankment. And for the problem is Willemstad is located inside gate community. That site is quite distant from commercial area, and the commercial area is out of walking distance but near enough to reach by bicycle, motorized vehicle. And the second problem is Willemstad also lack of sidewalk.
Thank you, Yegar, for explaining my sites. Now we will move on to Yegar site. Next. So in general description, Yegar site is located on the northern part of Surabaya in West Perak sub-district and Kembangan district. The site corridors is mostly located in Ikan Mungsing Street, and the altitude is 5 meters above the sea level. Next. So Yegar have presented a beautiful site map. As we can see, the sun is come from the north, and the sun path is shaped like a concave down. This probably caused by the site location that is located on the southern hemisphere. And then the noise mostly comes from the, wait a second, sir. Yeah, so the noise is mostly comes from the main street, the Tanjung Sadari Street, and the wind is come from the northwest. There's many public access to the corridor. There are 4 of them, and also there's many trees around. Next. So we will go to the physical attributes. So this is the microclimate in Yegar site. From the graph, we can see that the hottest month is October, and nearly reaching 34.2 degrees Celsius, and then the wettest month is February with 150 millimeter of precipitation. Next. So this is the topography of the land. The land is located between 7 degrees 13 minutes 29.81 seconds to the south, and then 112 degrees 43 minutes 35.43 seconds to the east. So as I said earlier, the average altitude is 3 until 6 meters above the sea level. And also the lowlands covering the areas of East, North, and South Surabaya have a slope of under 3%. So the site is also under that percentage. And the site's aspect is facing southwest. And then this is the type of the rocks and soils inside. So there are 4 types of rock, which are basically clay or sand units. And in Surabaya, the soil types is classified into 6 types: 1 alluvial, 2 silt, 3 sand deposits, 4 sand sediment mud, 5 not volcanic ash, and 6 alluvial not volcanic ash. But the type of soil in the corridor of the site is alluvial soil, and the type of rock in this corridor is alluvium rock. Next. We go to the biological attributes now. We start with flora. So Liegar site have different types of vegetations beside the palm tree. There's also angsana tree, bougainville, and spruce tree. Next, so the difference with the fauna is that Yeager site has more variety of birds like sparrow, pigeon, spotted love, or tekukur in Indonesian, and also stray cat. We'll now talk about the cultural attributes. Next. So the land tenure. So not all the land in the sites are privately owned. So one of them are open for flats and one for office. And some of food stall have to pay for rent in this site. And also we can see this beautiful map of land use. We can see the orange color is these corridors that Yeager have been making site inventory on. And then there's housing, there's also office, and then trade and services, and there's lighter blue of drainage systems there. Next. So there are some potential and problems in Yeager site. The potentials are such as availability of adequate public facilities. As we can see earlier, that Yeager site have many type of land uses. And then the second one is the traffic is not too busy. The third one is many food stalls located around the site. And then the fourth one is there are many trees around. But some of the problems are like the lack of the sidewalk, and then there are the illegal building that has been built above the drainage, and also the third one is there is no park around the site, even though there are many trees. Next. So we will go briefly about the site comparison. So in these physical attributes, we can see there are subcategory like soils, topography, geology, microclimate. Then the subcategory of soil, I think there's not much different. Like all of the sites are strong enough for two-story building, and all of the sites are located near the open spaces and no floods ever recorded. Also, all sites are stable with no landslides ever recorded. And then in the topography, the main difference here that the elevation, my sites is 30 meters above the sea level, and Yeager sites is 6 meters above the sea level. And the geology, the rock types is same, but the soil types are different. And then the microclimate, the biggest difference is here are the windiest month. Mine's in January and Yeager's in August. Yeager will explain the rest of the presentation.
That is biological attribute, the flora. The difference is from Williamsburg has palm tree, pine tree, and gardenia, and magenta cherry. And my side is palm tree, angsana tree, and bougainville spruce. And for the fauna, the difference is my side is dominated by birds. William fauna has cats and sparrow, and my side has cat, sparrow, pigeons, and spotted dove. For the cultural, the land tenure status, William said, all land are privately owned, and no land being on rent or sell, and my side is not all privately owned. And then the land use is William said mostly residential and green open space, but my side is residential, facilities, office, and service. And I think that's all from us. Thank you for your attention.
Perfect. Thank you very much. It's interesting that you highlighted the the different variety of birds here and there. I think pigeons and spotted love. I never knew that they were called spotted love.
I
So-
think I have made the mistake, a spotted dove, sir.
Spotted dove. Okay. Well, pigeons and spotted doves. There you go. I never knew that they were that's what they were called. One and yes, the pigeons and the doves are also common around where I live at the moment. So I think so far what we know from the three or four presentations that we've had is that stray cats are very versatile animals. They're survivors, and we see a lot of sparrows around, and perhaps even pigeons. Well, thank you very much for that. I'll provide the feedback a little later on. So, who would like to go next?
I think me and my friend Gary, sir.
Okay, cool. So this is number 5, isn't it? Fifth. Yeah, I think it's.
Okay. Good morning. We will present our site inventory exercise. Me as Dio and my friend Gary Baldi. So the first one, I will present about the Gary site. For general description, the site name street is Lobak 4 Street, and for the sub-district is North Gandaria, and district is Kebayoran Baru, and city in South Jakarta, and province is DKI Jakarta, and the area road length approx 100 meters, and this is and for the first picture is the south side location or the main gate from the main road, and in the bottom is in the middle of the street, and the last picture is on the south side. So as you can see, the sunbed is come from top, and the first and this wave is from the noise from the main road, and the second wave is from the noise from mosquito, and the mosquito is located is around here and here. For the wind is moderate breeze from north. Yeah. So this is the road from the main road that I said before. For the physical attribute, the soil, the bearing capacity in the south is row. The bearing capacity of the soil is strong enough to handle row of house with up to 3 floors. In the northwest row,
The bearing capacity of the soil is strong enough to handle row of house with up to floor. For the porosity, due to its compact nature, most houses have a very small rainwater absorption, open green space, and few trees. There are several on each side of the street. And the stability, the land is stable with reinforcement in the northwestern boundary slope. And next is topography. The elevation. Most houses have the same elevation with the road approximately 22 meters above sea level, with few having slightly higher than the street to encourage better drainage, moving rainwater out of the house. But the northwest side row of house is significantly higher than the area outside the northwest boundary of site with approximately 5 meters of difference. So the so the 5 meter higher in this zone. For the slope, the street corridor is flat with some houses having a slight slope on their driveway. The northwest side row of houses has a 90 degrees angle of slope with the area outside the northwest boundary of the site. For the aspect, the site is facing northwest due to its significantly higher elevation than the area outside the northwest boundary. For biological attributes, there are for the Gary gives. For the first is bitter leaf, that the function is reduce blood sugar and prevent many types of cancer. Two is weeping fig, that provides shade and fresh air. And the third is Japanese seiji, is prevent gastrointestinal cancer and improve eyesight. And the last one is corn plant, that purifying air by removing pollutant and toxin. And the next is fauna. For the first is sparrow, usually perched on electrical lines, on trees, and on rooftop. The second one is stray cat, that usually sleeping underneath parked car and wandering in the street and on rooftops. And the last is brown rat, that usually found roaming in the shower on the road. Next is cultural attribute. For land tenure status, all land are privately owned with only two open as flat. So the Kosan is here. No land or building are open for rent or sale. And for land use, almost all building in this site are residential, with some having mixed land use of commercial, like this. There is only one purpose-built commercial building near the northern entrance, next to the main road. This. Thanks.
Okay, my name is Garibaldi, and now I'm going to present the site. So the second site is called Mustika 1 Street. It is located in North Banjarbaru, here in the map shown in the yellow color. The district is Banjarbaru, with the city the same, Banjarbaru as well. It is located in the province of South Kalimantan. So the study area on the picture on the right is the yellow star is Dio's house, and the study area is the yellow line. It is studied from 20 meters to the left of the house and also 80 meters to the right. So it's combined into 100 meters. The the picture in the middle is the top one is on the facing north side, and then on the bottom one is the facing south side of the site. The closest important facility is the Puskesmas for the Banjarbaru Utara area, about 400 meters to the north, and close to the Puskesmas is the Loktabat Utara village office, a little to the west from the Puskesmas. Moving to the physical attributes. First is the topography. In general, the slope of Banjarbaru city, in the soil type, it varies the slope of 0 to 15%, but tends to be sloping. The slope relates the sensitivity to soil erosion. So, for example, the higher, the steeper, the more sensitive it is to erosion. So most of Banjarbaru area has the slope of 0 to 2%. This condition is very suitable for agricultural cultivation as well for urban activities. There are some slopes between 2 to 8% in parts of Cempaka Banjarbaru Utara, and also slopes between 8 to 15% in the Cempaka area. Although the site location has the slope mostly around 0 to 2%. So going to the elevation, in general, Banjarbaru city has the topography that varies between 0 to 500 meters above sea level. This particular site is located at an altitude of 28 to 31 meters above sea level, that range from 100 meters in the north to the south. So what it means is that in the north side, it is around 31 meters, and on the south side of the site is around 28 meters. Now the aspect location is in the site location is the yellow star here in. Sorry, the aspect of the site faces south because the elevation of the northern part is much higher than in the southern part. The average wind speed is 1.5 to 2 meters per second from the south to the north and east to the west, so it curves based on the data for the last 5 years. The average temperature is ranging between 22 to 34 degrees Celsius with the humidity from 44 to 100%. The sun moves from the east to the west for the location, but the perspective of the house, the sun is moving is slightly shifting 20 degrees to the right, as shown in the picture. Now in the soil, in general, red and yellow post-solic soil types or ULT soils. The post-solic soil types have the soil characteristic with low fertility and are sensitive to erosion. However, in Banjarbaru city, the agricultural cultivation can still be developed, like for example, for rice, secondary crops, vegetables, and also plantations. But it is accompanied by the right processing technology. So in the bearing capacity, this site, it is estimated that the carrying capacity of the soil is strong enough to accommodate rows of houses up to 3 floors. In the porosity, most of the houses have open green space in the form of rainwater infiltration in their front yard. Even though it seems small, it is quite helpful because in the yard of the house there are quite a lot of plants, from trees and hedge plants. There are also gutters on each side of the road, which are wide and standard in depth, although many are covered by cement to act as the bridge to the garage of the houses. In the stability, most of the central area, covering approximately 88% of the total area, has a smooth soil texture with an effective soil depth of more than 90 centimeters, which has a good tendency to be planted and also resistant to erosion. Also, the soil is stable and no landslides have been reported. Next is the biological attributes. So first is the fauna or the local animal. For the animals around the housing that are often encountered are stray cats, which are usually appear near green open space, which is in this site is the park, and also native chickens in the form of farm chickens belonging to the occupants of the house behind Dio's house. Here's the picture of the chicken and also the stray cat. Moving to the flora, first we have Beluntas. It is a wild plant that can be used as herbal medicine to treat vaginal discharge, but plants in this area are used as natural fences. The second flora is the mango tree. This plant is widely planted because of the shade of its leaves when it is grown, and also can produce fruit that can be sold. And the third flora is the Sapodilla tree. This plant produces fruit that has many benefits, such as maintaining a healthy digestive system, lowering blood sugar levels, against free radicals, prevent cancer, and also maintain heart health. Moving to the last attribute, which is cultural. So in the land tenure status, the land ownership that has been certified, all land has the status of family or private ownership, except for the garden complex next to Dio's house, which is in the form of joint ownership of the housing complex. This joint ownership status is held by the local RT or the village head, in which hold the files, and it has been agreed by the residents around the complex to build it into an open green space that was previously an empty land. There are buildings that are likely to be open for rent or sale, namely shop houses, because the existing business has closed for a long time. In the land use, for 80 meters heading to the north is the housing sector and across, and 20 meters heading south, namely green open spaces, and across it for now is the commercial sector in the form of shop houses. For the number of houses, it is estimated there are 7 houses on the right side, and the opposite side there are 6 houses, including in front of the house. So as the picture, just to note that the black shape is the drainage way. The commercial zone or the shop house used to be the marketing gallery for the residential, but now it is closed. And also we have the open green space next to the mosque and also security post. Now just a brief comparison between both sides from each attribute, physical, biological, and cultural. So in the physical, we have soil. First, the site 2 or the sites have more open green space and also larger sewers. In the topography, both sides have similar elevation and slope, although site 1 faces northwest, and I think this is a typo, the site 2 is actually facing south. On the biological attribute, in the flora, site 1 have slightly more diverse flora, but less in quantity. In the fauna, site 1 has slightly more diverse flora than site 2. And the last one is the cultural attribute. In the legal, both sides have similar land tenure status, with site 2 having a joint land ownership that site 1 doesn't have, but site 1 have a slightly more commercial buildings in this site. So I think that's the end of the presentation. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. I've noticed so far that mango trees pop up quite a lot of times. It is a very common vegetation to have, I suppose, along my corridor, along the corridor where I live in, where I live on. There are several houses with mango trees, mine included. I have a mango tree out front that never bears fruit somehow, but we like to keep it. We like to keep it around because it provides us with plenty of shade. Okay, thank you very much for that very informative presentation. I would like to invite the next group, next group of volunteers. Hey, fire away.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Atifa, and my friend Putri will explain about our site inventory analysis. Our site is located in Tangerang, which is Putri's residence, and South Jakarta, which is my residence. The first site is in Tangerang. It is located in Green Lake City, Kresek Main Street, Ketapang Regency, Ciponda District, in Tangerang, Banten Province. The existing nearby facilities, this site is located nearby certain facilities. Couple of them are the commercial ones and clinics. It's in form of shop houses. Not only commercial facilities, but this site is also nearby the education facilities, as illustrated in the picture, Public Junior High School. This is the map illustration of Putri site. So the sun path passes almost directly above the site. The moderate breeze is coming from the west due to the difference of height with the area outside the northwest side of the site boundary. The noise dominantly comes from mosque outside the site in the northwest direction and from street of Ki Hajar Dewantoro, where the irregular high density as well as high traffic are located. For the physical attribute, the topographic condition located at an altitude of 10 to 30 meters above sea level, which made the whole area is in the lowlands. The microclimate is tropical. The climate is generally hot with maximum temperatures ranging from 32.7 degrees Celsius to 34 degrees Celsius during the day, and minimum temperatures ranging from 23.8 degrees Celsius to 25.4 degrees Celsius at night. The average rainfall throughout the year is 237.96 millimeters. The soil type, the entire plain consists of Pleistocene, which are located approximately 50 meters below the soil surface, consists of alluvial soil layer type. And next is the biological attribute. The existing flora in the site are root trees, palm trees, and aloe vera. And the existing fauna in the site are stray cats, fruit bats, and old world sparrows. The next is the cultural attribute. For the land tenure status, most of the land are private properties. There are properties for sale and rent. The land use, the surroundings are mostly used as a residential area and commercial areas in form of shop houses. The utilization of green open space also filled the area. For the infrastructure, adequate road and drainage system, electricity, clean environment, existing playground, clubhouse, and security post. What works in an excellent view to the east, where it can get direct sunlight as well as sunrise can be seen. The flat side terrain gives flexibility in land use purposes. The great availability of green open space as well as single trees gives great water absorption, which could prevent the area from flooding. Another advantage is the location between the site and main road are separated, and there are only one primary entrance to the site, which can reduce noises that may be generated by traffic. And the approximate of 6 meters road width are able to accommodate two-way vehicle lanes. And what does not work in this site are the location of the house, which is close to one another, is not very profitable for the household, due to the possible sound or noises that can be heard from the house next to it. And the noise from the outside of the site could also be a concern due to being the approximate same height as most towers to the northwest side of the site. The changes to be made in the site is to provide a more appropriate distance between one house and another, so it could muffle the sound that might occur from the next house activity. The next site is going to be explained by my friend.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. So I will be explaining Atifas site, which is located in South Jakarta. Okay, so for the site introduction, it is located in Mangga Street Corridor, which is located in South Gandaria, Cilandak Sub-District in South Jakarta part. The existing nearby facilities are Pondok Indah Mall, and the other one is education facilities such as 240 Junior High School. So this is the map illustration of Atifas site. The sun passes almost directly above the site, and the moderate breeze, which is pointed by the blue arrow, is coming from the south due to the difference of height with the area outside east side of the site boundary. And the noises mostly comes from the Mangga Street as the main road through which many vehicles pass, and also from the miles outside of the site. So for the physical attribute, the topography in Atifas site has slope rate of 0.25%, and the average height of the land reaches for about 5 until 50 meters above sea level. For the microclimate is hot with a maximum temperature of 34.2 degrees Celsius and minimum temperature of 23.7 degrees Celsius, with the humidity levels ranging from 80 until 90%, and the average annual rainfall is 164.42 millimeters. For the soil itself, the entire plain consists of Pleistocene, which are located plus minus 50 meters below the soil surface. It is consists of alluvial soil layer type. So for the biological attribute that are existing in Atifas site, first one is the fauna, which is flora, or as you all known as kuping gajah, also mango trees, as well as palm trees. And for the fauna is stray cats and also old world sparrows. So the cultural attribute, the first one is the land tenure status. Most of the land are private properties, and there are properties for sale and rent. One land owned by the government, which is the Gandaria Sub-District Office. For the land use itself, it is mostly used as a residential area. The utilization of green open space also fill in the area. For the quality of infrastructure itself, it is adequate road and also drainage system, electricity, and also it has clean environment. So what works and doesn't work in this site is, the first one is the elevation and aspect of the site gives an excellent view to the east, where it can get direct sunlight as well as sunrise can be seen. The location of the site, which is on flat land, provides a wider range of accessibility options for folks with limited mobility. And for the doesn't work part is, there are houses that do not have enough land to build green open space. Usually the yards are cement and used as carport, so there is no rainwater catchment place. The approximate 3.5 meters road width is not able to accommodate two-way vehicle lanes. And the changes to be made is, first one, providing more green open space for rainwater absorption. Second one is obliging the house yard to have infiltration soil to prevent stagnant water. And also the last one is widen the main road so that the pedestrian path can be wider and more comfortable. Thank you. I think that's all from us.
Thank you very much. Right. How are we going for time? I think we should be all right. Okay. Thank you for that very informative piece of presentation. I'd like to invite the next next pair of volunteers. How many more groups do we have today? I think is it three or four more groups we have? But anyways, yep.
I think it's 4.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, well, without further ado, I'd like to invite the next. I'd like to invite the next group to present their findings.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Now we're gonna present our site inventory from Matilda site inventory and mine. Next. This is the area of site inventory. There are Tangerang BSD City in Tangerang, which is Matilda site inventory, and mine in Malang. For the introductions, Matilda Odelia Residence is located in Regentown Regency Block A2/20, number 20, BSD City, Tangerang District. It is near several puskesmas and hospital. It is also surrounded by many schools and universities, sports centers, governmental agencies, business office, shopping center, mall, shops, halls, and other commercial establishment. Next. Next. This is a map site corridor of Matilda House. For the old house, because it is in the corner of the house, so it use an area 50 meters up and to the right. And as we can see for the sun path, it is come from east, and the wind direction is from west. And for the noise directions, it mostly come from out of the residence. Next. Okay, the next is physical attribute. The first is topography. The lowland from the center of the south with an altitude of more than 25 meters above sea levels. The average land slope of 0 until 3% decrease to the north. And for the microclimate based on latitude, Tangerang Regency is in the tropical climate. According to the Köppen climate classification, most of the Tangerang Regency is in the F category, which is the tropical rainforest climate category. The high rainfall in Tangerang Regency usually occurs from December to March, with monthly rainfall of more than 200 millimeters per month, and rainfall tends to be low from June to September, with monthly rain of less than 120 millimeters per month. The air temperature in Tangerang City ranges from 26 degrees Celsius until 34 degrees Celsius, with relative humidity level varying between 77% until 85%. And the third is soil. The type of soil in Tangerang Regency as a whole consists of the alluvial clay, alluvial tow, alluvial and clay low humus clay associations, and planosol, brown regosol, and associations of red and brownish red latosol, yellow potsolic association, yellow potsolic, and hydrophone association clay. The next is biological attribute. The first is fauna. There are snake. It was especially owned by the Matilda neighborhood, and stray cat. There are many stray cats that around Matilda cluster. Sometimes she's found a cat pass by around the park of the road. So I think the stray cat is to hound the mouse. The last is dog. There are many stray dogs in Ode cluster because behind the Ode cluster there are a village and they have many dogs. The next is biological attribute about flora. There are Areca palm tree, Bambusa vulgaris, Strariata, Althum gemani, Althum plowmani, banana tree, Coco nucifera, pencil palm, and Monstera borsigiana. Next, for the cultural attributes, the tenure status of the land are private property. They are properties for sale or rent. The next is land use. Use as a residential area. The utilizations of JOS also fill the area or park. The last is infrastructure, adequate road and drainage system, electricity, clean environment, playground, parking lot, and security post. And for the positive side of the Ode Regency is BSD City was developed with the concept of an independent city, which is this concept make everything that residents we need completely available on one area, so we don't have to go outside the BSD area. Another positive advantage, which is a clean, orderly, and well-maintained environment, complete facilities, easy access and strategic location, and the investment value that will continue increase. For the negative side, when we go live from the outside of the Matilda Regency, we will often get shocked by the traffic jams that are getting worse and puddles when it rains. Another negative side is the road has a potholes like around Puspitek or Cisauk. The road damage was very bad, and especially the number 10 trucks passing by. Hopeful. And another negative side is people who live in Ode Regency and some surrounding house do not have a choice of Wi-Fi internet providers for homes and others than My Republic as Wi-Fi providers. The last negative side is public transportation is really rare because many people always use the private transportation or using train if they want to go around Jakarta. And the traditional market around BSD City has a really high price for ticket and things such as fruit and etc. Next, Ode.
I will explain about my friend's Dinda alias Site Inventory. She's living in Malang. Dinda alias Regency was actually located in Taman Golf Utama number 30 in Araya Residency in Malang, East Java. It is close and near to some hotels and hospitals. Has one entrance, namely the main entrance from the south side. It is also surrounded by many schools and university, restaurants, sports centers, business offices, shopping malls, shops, halls, and other commercial places. For the healthcare facilities near, there are Persada Hospital, and then for school near, there are Pinus University Malang and SMP Al-Kautsar Malang. And for the commercial area, there are Plaza Araya. And then here's the map. So this one, the Tosca, green Tosca, is Dinda Alia houses. And the one came from here, and then it is located on Taman Golf Utama Street, but the noise came from Raya Golf Utama. And the sandpad came from the northeast. So for the physical attribute, there are few types of attributes around Dinda site inventory, such as topography. The elevation is 506 meter above seawater level. And then for the slope, Paki subdistrict has slope between 2 until 15%. And then the microclimate is tropical. It has a tropical climate that change in cycle 2 of climates, rainy season and dry season. Temperature is about 18.25 degree until 31.45 degree. And for the air pressure, it is 1012.70 millibars. And for the humidity, it is 79% until 86%. And the wind speed, it's about 1.8 until 4.7 kilometer per hour. And lastly, the rainfall is 1,596 millimeter per year. For the soil, Paki subdistrict is located in the eastern part of Malang Regency, where soil types are alluvial blackish gray, Mediterranean brown, reddish brown gray, brown lato soil association, and then brown andesite association and gray humus. And the structure soil is generally relatively good. But what needs attention is the use of andosol soil types, which are sensitive to erosion. This andosol soil type is found in Lowokwaro district with a relative slope of about 15%. And this is the local vegetation, the biological attribute or the local vegetation. There are fauna and flora. Start from the flora, there are purple orchid flower. It is the function is to beautify the garden and has a medical properties for natural healing. And then there are Cambodia tree to beautify the garden again and relieve the stress. And next is Paku Tandukusa to beautify the garden and has medicinal properties for natural healing. Lastly, there are Asoka flower to beautify the garden. It's again. And then for the fauna wildlife, there are turtle dove and stray cats. And then next is the cultural attribute. There are land tenure status. All of the land are private properties. There are properties for sale and rent. And then for land use as residential area, the utilization of GOS also fill the area. And then the infrastructure, adequate road and drainage system, electricity, clean environment, playground, clubhouse, university, sports center, golf course, security post, and Malang Surabaya toll access. The positive sides in Araya is like the largest residential area in Malang, where Araya housing has a boundary between Malang City and Malang Regency, which is connected by a bridge owned by Araya Housing. Araya was developed with the concept of an independent city. This concept makes everything needed by the residents available in one area and quite complete. So you don't have to go outside. Some of the other advantages are clean, orderly, and well-maintained environment, complete facilities, easy access to Malang or Surabaya toll through the Pakis Gate, and then the investment value will continue to increase in the future. And for the negative sides, Araya housing is located between Malang City and Malang Regency, just like I told you before, which makes Araya housing quite far from the city center. The main road in front of the housing estate is also the main road from city to city, which makes it it takes a lot of large vehicles such as trucks and heavy equipment that makes the main road is busy during the peak hours. And it kind of puddles when it rains. And then Araya housing also has a shortcut to the village, where along the main road Araya housing is not used for the Araya residents, but the residents of the village also pass the road, which sometimes the result is disorderly road users, such as breaking the flow and others. The distance from city center access make it very difficult to get public transportation access to city center, making it very difficult to make too many residents to use the private transportation. And then lastly, the conclusion for our presentation is, based after we compare between side of my site inventory and in the site inventory, there are several significant difference in the physical aspect, where the topography in BSD City is in the lowlands and the topography in Araya housing is in highlands. In the biological aspect, it has almost the same nature, which has a variety of fauna and flora. And then for the cultural aspect, in which the same status, the whole land is private property, and there are properties for sale and rent. Even the positive and negative sides also have many similarities, such as self-contained housing, where whatever is needed in the population is available in one area, or that housing area has a clean and well-maintained environment. And also the negative aspect is also similar, are the same as the minimal public transportation and about the congregation. I think that's all from our presentation.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay. We still have about 3 more to go. Well, I really like what I'm seeing so far. Means that it's quite promising for the bigger group work or the bigger group task. I'd like to invite the next pair of volunteers. You can.
Yeah, I think me and my partner would like to go, sir.
Awesome. Time and place is yours.
All right. So good morning, everyone, and sir. Today, me and my partner are going to present our site inventory report. My name is Hatas Jensen and my student number is 9. And I'm here along with Nesamera. Her student number is 1.
So the first one is Hatas Residence, which is located in SDCT in South Tangerang. Hatas Residence is located in the SDCT which is a privately developed planned community at Serpong district of South Tangerang, which is located near the hospitals, schools, police office, and traditional market. The soil types in the BSD city area includes red latosol, reddish-brown latosol, and grayish-brown alluvial soils. The dominant soil type is latosol with a natural soil pH ranging from 6 to 7. The stability is quite resistant to degradation because the implementation of the construction project carries out many activities that are cut and kneaded, and at the time of developing the soil controls. This causes the topography of the land to change. To avoid the threat of erosion and landslides due to discarding and filling activities, the SDCT is making efforts to improve the quality and quantity the bearing capacity can accommodate more than. The topography in the SDCT. The SDCT is part of the Serpong district, which has a slope of 0 to 3% and an altitude between 0 to 25 meters above sea level. And the microclimate in the SDCT is the average air temperature is around 26 to 28 degrees Celsius, with the minimum air temperature around 24 degrees Celsius and maximum of 34 degrees. Rainfall occurred in January, and the average inner wind speed in a year is 4 meters per second.
I think am I the only one who's not receiving any voice feed?
For the biological attributes in
Yeah, I think she's having a connection problems there with her Wi-Fi.
hello, hello, can you hear my voice?
Yes,
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. The biological attributes in Hadas residence, the most common flora within 100 meters radius are Spanish cherry tree and Cambodia tree. There are also other common flora, which is pine trees, palm trees, bamboo, and other small plants. For the fauna, there are stray cats and frogs. The land use in the city, most of the land use of Tangerang Selatan City is occupied for medium density settlements, which is 38%. Low density settlements occupies the second largest position with 23.6%. Within the gated community that Hatta resides in, there is a green open space located at the center of the complex. This acts as a social gathering space and has facilities such as swimming pool, tennis court, and park. The land tenure is privately owned. There are two facilities, which is the center park that's usually used as a place for gathering for residents and a place to vote in election season, and the clubhouse, which includes swimming pool, tennis court, basketball court, soccer field, gym, and mini market. For the utilities in Habas residence, there are security posts, street lamp, CCTV camera, fire hydrant, garbage can, and street sign.
Right. So now we're going to move on to Nessa's residence. So Nessa's residence is specifically located in Kertajaya Indah in the Mulyorejo district. Within her residence, there are a few facilities that are accessible, including hospitals, schools, police office, and shopping centers. So moving on to the physical attribute, the geophysical conditions of the area based on soil types in Surabaya is grouped into non-volcanic ash soil, alluvial, silt sand sediment, and sand sediment. So, and specifically for Kertajaya, the most dominant type of soil is alluvial soil, with a potential of hydrogen slightly below neutral, which ranges from 5 to 6. But alluvial type is highly recommended because it has a good infiltration and absorption. So it is regarding stability, it is quite stable because it has a good absorption for water. The topography has a land height ranging from 3 to 6 meters above sea level and has a land height between 0 to 10 meters. The slope is quite similar to my residence. It is in the flat category, which is less than 3%. The microclimate, Surabaya has a tropical climate like the big cities in Indonesia in general. The average rainfall is 165 millimeters. The highest rainfall above 200 millimeters occurs in the period of January to March and November to December. The temperature is quite hot, which is an average between 22.6 to 34.1 degrees Celsius, with an average air pressure between 1005 to 1013 millibars and a humidity between 42% to 97%. And the average wind speed per hour reaches 12 to 20 kilometers. The average rainfall is between 120 to 190 millimeters. So for the biological attributes, there are a few types of plants that are common within her area, namely Ravenala, which is common in the houses in Kertajaya Indah, and also palm trees within the area. For the fauna, since her house is located to the main street, so there are no distinct types of fauna that lives in within the area. So what are classified is stray cats and sparrows usually. And land in Kertajaya Indah is mostly dominated by housing, and Kertajaya also has a form of public facilities, drainage services, and green open spaces within her. Within her access is Haji Public Hospital Surabaya, Oakwood Hotel, Galaxy Mall, and Cornfield Jatim. For the land tenure, I think mostly it is privately owned, but some are rented, available for rent. And within her residence, there are a few utilities provided. There are security posts within her street corridor. There is garbage cans provided for each houses, and there are street lamps. So now we're moving on to the conclusion, which includes the critics for us, from us, comparisons, and conclusions. So for my residence, overall, Taman Giri Loka is a great living space with good facilities and environment. The security measures is always up to date, and there are not much criminal activities that occur. However, there are no separations for people that are riding cars and people that are walking or cycling on a few street corridors within the housing complex. So it can be dangerous for people that are jogging or cycling, especially if they wear headphones. And recently, it has become a trend to have physical activities at night. So if this is not taken into consideration, it can provide more danger. For Nessa's residence, it provides many and reachable facilities due to the location that is located near the main road. So, but anyone can simply enter the area without any struggle since it is directly connected to Kertajaya Street. So it may endanger the security of residents. And traffic congestion also still occur in the main road. comparison. So the type of place that both individual lives in affect their daily activities. So me and Nessa has a quite different living space. I live in a gated community, while Nessa lives in a place that is directly connected to the city by the main street. So we have a difference in the distance to commercial areas. I live in an aggregated community complexes, housing complexes. So it takes a few hundred meters more for me to reach commercial areas, while Nessa can just go directly to the main street without any struggle. And it also differs in the physical activities that can be done within my housing area. It provides a lot more exclusive facilities. So, and the area in general is quite more comfortable because it provides more safety. So it is very common to see people walking their pets, jogging or cycling within the area, while it is not very common to see that in Nessa's residence. And other than that, there is a difference in the soil type, the type of flora that exists, and the facilities. Other than that, the topography and microclimate is quite similar, so there's no much difference in that aspect. So in conclusion, the site components and facilities provided within the area of residence affects the way of living. Each type of residential area will have their own advantages and disadvantages that are highly reliant on the planning of the city. Hatta lives in a gated community that offers an array of exclusive facilities, while Nessa lives in a more open environment that further connects her to the city. And that is it for our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for that, guys. Yeah, and thank you for highlighting the contrast between gated communities and more open or connected ones, or as I said earlier, the organic, more organic communities. Right. I'd like to invite the next group to the floor.
Good morning, everyone. Today we will present our site inventory. My name is Lava Mirakoma Hayati, and my partner is Naomi Laura Lavangima. The first one I will present about my friend's site inventory. The first site is Laura's Residence. Laura's Residence located on the Manyar Tirtoyoso Selatan 1 of Manyar Tompotika Housing in Mulyorejo Subdistrict, located in Surabaya, East Java Province. Approximately, the street corridor is 1,000 meters straight with a width of 6 meters. It has one entrance, which is the primary entrance from the west side, which is from Tirtoyoso Selatan 7, and the second entrance is beside the Alfamart from Jalan Tirtoyoso Selatan, where only pedestrians who can pass it because the gate is always closed. Her location is close to several hospital or puskesmas, shopping centers, hotels, restaurants, shops, universities, and schools. The topography on my partner site each houses have a similar elevation, which is approximately 3 meters above sea level. Most houses have the same height as the road, and all of the street area corridor in the side area is flat, with an average land slope less than 3%. And the microclimate, Surabaya has a tropical climate with 2 seasons a year, namely the rainy season and the dry season. The temperature range between 23.6 Celsius until 33.8 Celsius. The air pressure is 1,942.3 until 1,012.5 millibars. The humidity is ranged between 42% till 97%, and the wind speed is around 12 until 23 km per hour. The average rainfall through the year is 165.3 until 200 millimeters. And the soil of Mulyorejo subdistrict is located in the eastern part of the city of Surabaya, where in Surabaya the oil type is swamp sediment. The existing plant in the site area, the first one is frangipani or plumeria. The benefits of frangipani are to keep the air cool and to beautify the house. And frangipani flowers can also be used for herbal medicine. And the next is palm trees. The benefits of palm trees is to absorb pollution so that it can improve the air quality around it, and it can absorb 10% more water than other plants. And the third is jackfruit. Jackfruit can absorb various poisonous gas and particles, and produce oxygen gas and reducing noise. And the last one is aloe vera. Aloe vera can absorb carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. And the animals that can be found in the street corridor, the first one is stray cats. Stray cats is an unowned domestic cat that lives outdoors and avoids human contact. And the next is old world sparrow. Old world sparrow generally inhabit open areas. They are well adapted to urban landscape and can be found alongside humans through the world. And the last one is the cultural attribute. The land tenure status. Most of the land are private properties. There are couples of properties for sale and rent in the housing market. And almost all buildings in the site are for residential land use. The utilization of greenhouse open space also fill the area. The infrastructure at Laura site is an adequate road and drainage system, electricity, clean environment, playground, and security post. The potential on my partner side is not so crowded. The streets are neat and quiet. And the problem on my partner side is the drainage system is inadequate during the long heavy rain season. The river inside the housing also quickly overflows, so that floods often occur and lack of green open space in each house, resulting in less infiltration areas. The roads are not sufficiently planted with large trees.
The next site is located on the Catalina line of Catalina Housing Street Corridor in Paku Jaya, North Serpong Subdistrict, located in the city of South Tangerang, Banten Province. It is near market, hospitals, restaurants, sports centers, and shops. It is also surrounded by many schools. The road corridor stretches for 100 meters with a width of 6 meters, and it has only one entrance, namely the main entrance. Next. And the physical attribute of a site is, the first one is topography. The elevation is about 25 above seawater level, and all of the street area corridor in this site area is flat with average land slope 0 until 3%.
And this site has a tropical microclimate with minimum temperature around 23.4 Celsius and the maximum temperature is 34.2 Celsius. And the rainfall ranges from 1,800 till 2,200 millimeters with humidity levels 80%. Also, the wind speed is around 4.9 kilometers per hour. And the soil generally in the form of an association of red lettuce and reddish brown lettuce, which are generally suitable for agriculture or plantation. However, in reality, more and more are changing its use for other non-agricultural activities such as residential area. Next. And this is the local vegetation at lava site. The first one is Magnifera indica or mango trees. It produces fruit that contain vitamins A and C, and the mango tree has large leaves that associate to make it cool around the house. The next one is Aglaonema. It's able to clean the air. Then it's Gerbera mangas. The leaves can be processed into biopesticides, and the toxic content in the fruit is also disliked by animals. And the last one is Peperomia argyreia. As an ornamental plant, it's beautify the house and a replacement for the air purifier. For the biological attribute is stray cats and old wood sparrow. The last one is cultural attribute. The land tenure status. Most of the land are private properties. There are a couple of properties for sale or rent in the housing market, and almost all buildings in the site are for residential land use. There are buildings that have mixed commercial use, such as sub-houses located opposite the entrance. And the infrastructure at lava site is an adequate road and drainage system, electricity, clean environment, playground, and security posts. And for the potential at lava site is the location of the site, which is on slope of about 0 until 3% can help in the fast flow of water so that it is less likely to accumulate water. And the problems in lava site is the yards in several houses are made of cement so that there is not enough land at home to build green open space or green space or plants, so that there are not many catchment areas. And changes to be made in lava site is it requires the yard of the house to have open space for planting plants and added more green open space. So the similarity between our site is that the center activity is located in trade facilities, and both of the land are stable and have drainage. And the differences between our site is my site has just 3 meter elevation above the sea, but lava site has approximately 25 elevation above the sea. And there's a river at my site, while there is any river at lava site. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you very much for that. So how many more groups do we have left now?
I think it's one set.
Okay, great. Then I invite the final group to to present their findings.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this occasion, me and my partner will present about our site. And firstly, I will explain about Aziz site. So the Aziz site is in Jalan Insinyur Haji Juanda, number 317 Dago. The climate of Bandung City is influenced by the humid and cool mountainous climate, and the average temperature is 23.10 Celsius. Along the way around the site can be found many commercial areas, and the closest influential facility is a supermarket, which is about 10 meters across from the house. And for the physical attribute, the first one is soil. The geological and soil conditions in the city of Bandung and its surroundings were formed during the quarter period and have alluvial soil layers resulting from the eruptions of Mount Tangkuban Perahu. The type of material is the north is generally andosol. In the south and the east, it consists of alluvial grade type distributions with clay sediment material. And andosol soil types are well known in the central and western parts. And for the porosity, most of the houses have green open spaces in the form of rainwater infiltrations in their front yards. On each side of the road, there are sidewalks for pedestrians that almost do not have open land or for water absorptions. And for bearing capacity, it is estimated that the soil bearing capacity is strong enough to accommodate rows of houses up to 4 floors and with large enough buildings. And the stability based on the grain size and I think I just lost connections. This one.
Oh, there it is.
I'm sorry for that. I will continue for the stability based on grain size and texture. The surface materials that make up the Bandung Basin urban area are silt, silty clay, breccia, and lava. The soil is stable and no landslide have been recorded at the site. Next. For the topography, the first one is elevations. Topographically, Bandung is located at an altitude of 791 meters above sea level. The highest point in the north with an altitude of 1,050 meters, and the lowest in the south is 675 meters above sea level. And the site location is located at an altitude of 820 until 830 meters. And for the slopes in Bandung Basin urban area can be grouped into flat slope, which is lower than 8%, and the gentle slope is more than 8 until 15%, and rather steep slopes is more than 50 until 30%, and steep slopes is more than 30 until 40%, and very steep slopes is more than 40%. And this and in azisite is gentle slopes, which is more than 8 until 15%. And for the aspect of the side facing south is marked with a neon yellow arrow and facing south because the elevations in the north is much higher than that in the south. And then for the biological attribute, in the azisa for the flora, there are longan, mahogany, and pine tree. For the longan trees can be found in some homes, and longan seeds, fruit, leaves, and flowers are also can be used as ingredients in the traditional medicine, especially in Chinese herbs. And for mahogany, along the way can be found mahogany trees with large and small size. And mahogany trees can reduce air pollution by about 47% until 69%, so that they are called shade trees as well as air filters. And for the pine tree can be found in along the road, and the pine tree and its aroma can provide a natural atmosphere that indirectly relieves stress and relieves mental illness. And for the fauna, there are brown rat, stray cat, and sparrows. Brown rat or house rat is one of the most common rat species found in urban areas. And usually brown rats are seen in sewers or sewage. And stray cats are usually seen on the side of the road, on the rooftops, or in the yard. Stray cat is an unowned domestic cat that lives outdoor and avoids human contact. And for the sparrow can be seen on roofs, on cables, and on tree branches. Sparrow like to flock and are often seen moving and foraging for food. And for the cultural attribute, for the land tenure status, most land ownership has been certified. All land has the status of private ownership, except for some buildings such as government offices. Some buildings are open for rent or sale, namely shop houses. And for the land use, most of the buildings on the site are for commercial land use, such as supermarkets, mini market, cafe, and shop houses. And some buildings have land uses as settlements, and there is one government office. And for the arguments, for what works and what doesn't work. For what works, the altitude and aspect of the site, which are influenced by the mountainous climate, make it humid and cool. The average temperature is 23.10 Celsius. The average rainfall is 204.11 millimeters, and the average number of rainy days is 18 days per month. And the large number of commercial and service uses of land adds economic value. And for what doesn't work, with the surrounding area having many commercial and service uses making it noise pollution. Settlement in the area will disrupt by the noise of the crowd, and with its already dense environment, water absorption is reduced. Roads and sidewalks and building block open land to absorb water, although there is some green open land in the settlement. And for change to make it better, the first one, provide green open land for vegetations on the edge of the sidewalk. The second, make rainwater absorption wells that directly absorb into the ground. And the last one, limitations of loudspeaker at night. And the next one will be explained by Ajis.
And next is scarce site. Where is the site located? The site is located in Tengklek at the 2 RW 11, Telukan Grogol, Sukoharjo. The location of the site varies greatly from the flora and fauna that exist to the land uses. The road corridor at the site location has a width of approximately 5 meters. And the facilities near the site, there are mosque, halls for residents, and water room. And there's a bank and war room. Next is physical attribute for soil. From the secondary data obtained, Grogol district has 4 types of soil, namely alluvial, Amdisol, Grogol, and Latosol. Alluvial soil is one type of soil that is fertile for agriculture. Alluvial soils are usually located near rivers. And for the carrying capacity, in the area of this site, it is estimated that carrying capacity of the soil is strong enough to accommodate rows of houses with 2 floors. And for the porosity is good enough because many houses have green open space which are equipped with several plants so that they can be used for rainwater absorption. In front of the house, there is also a ditch. And for stability, there has never been a landslide or land shift, so that the soil is stable. For topography, this on the secondary data, the slope of the site is flat around 0 to 2%. There is no difference in elevation. And for the elevation is 92 meters above the sea level. And for the aspect, side faces is because the elevation in the west is much higher than that in the east. And next is biological attribute. And along the road corridor, we can find a mango tree, banana, petachina, yam, and ketapang. And around the paddy fields, we can find jarak tree, kuih, paddy, jasmine, and sri rejeki. And for fauna, ular sawah and tikus sawah are often found around rice fields and often enters people's home because of their neighboring houses with rice fields. And there are also stray cats. Next is cultural attribute. Land tenure status. All the lands or houses are private owned. However, some of the resident houses are used as residence and are also rented out as boarding houses. There is no house or land for sale. For the land use, of this site varies widely. Most of the land is used for settlement. There is also land that is used for industry, namely the furniture industry. There are also lands for agriculture. There are also two empty warehouses along the site. Arguments and comparison. What works and what doesn't work? What works, there is no difference in elevation and the soil is stable so that the site is safe from the threat of landslides. And what doesn't work is some houses that do not have green open space do not have water infiltration, so it will cause puddles when it rains. And there is an empty warehouse that seems like it is being abandoned. Change to make it better. The empty warehouse can be used as land or other buildings that are more useful, such as maybe the empty warehouse can be converted into boarding houses because it can be profitable for the owner of the empty warehouse. Boarding house will definitely sell because there are several factories across the area not far from the site, so that many factory employees will definitely rent the boarding house. Perhaps the empty warehouse could also be destroyed and the land could be used as land for growing food crops such as secondary crops and provide green open land for vegetation of the edge of the sidewalks. And for the comparison, the big differences is the elevation. From this side, the land elevation is about 825 meters above sea level, while Sekar site is the elevation is about 92 meters. And in my site area, having many commercial and service, while Sekar site mostly housing and agriculture.
For the conclusions for our site, from the result of the analysis, we can see that Aziz site has land elevations of about 820 until 830 meters above sea level, making it humid and cool mountainous climates with an average temperature of 23.10 Celsius. And Sekar site varies greatly from the flora and fauna that exists to the land uses, because the land is flat with an elevation of 92 meters. And problems experienced by Aziz site is the surrounding area having many commercial and service uses, making it noise pollution. Settlements in the area feel disturbed by the noise of the crowd. And with its already dense environment, water absorption is reduced. And roads, sidewalks, and buildings block open land to absorb water, although there is some green open land in the settlement. And in Sekar site, some houses that do not have green open space do not have water infiltration, so it will cause puddles when it rains. And from this problem, we get the solutions provide green open land for vegetation on the edge of the sidewalk, make rainwater absorption wells that directly absorb in the ground, and then for the empty warehouse can be used as land or other buildings that are more useful, such as maybe the empty warehouse can be converted into boarding house because it can be profitable for the owner land of the empty warehouse. And I think that's all from our presentations. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, everyone, for your for sharing your observations with all of us today. I see that site inventory. I see that from this exercise, site inventory is you guys have site inventory pat down. Some of you observed and documented more attributes than others, and that is to be expected. And I guess in the future group work that you guys will do for the bigger for the main task, for the main assignment, which is to select the site and to develop the site. You guys can play to each other's strengths in observation. With regards to some types of data, for example, demographic data like population numbers and population density, it would be good if you it would be great if you can include data like that. And some of you have already identified and mapped facilities, and some of you even went as far as to measuring roughly how far your place of residence is to the nearest facilities. You've also highlighted some. You have all highlighted functions that are adjacent to your corridor. That is precisely what we're looking for in a site inventory activity, not just in this exercise, but in the actual site inventory that you will do for your big assignment, and of course site inventories that you will subsequently conduct in your professional career as site planners, or if some of you end up becoming working for a landscape design or landscape developer, landscape developing firm, then these are the sort of observation skills and documentation skills that would be expected. So excellent job, you guys. Soil information, wind, soil and climatic information. I think you can always get these from secondary sources. You don't really need to actually survey the soil to find out what it is, because the type of soil available would typically be the same throughout, or not the same, but typically similar throughout the region. And for those of you who happen to live on the same island, you'll find that most of the times you get the recurring type of soil. Biological attributes. You've mentioned the different types of vegetation and animals that are available or that can be found in and around your corridor. Some of them may be privately owned decorative vegetation. Others might be others might have been planted or provided by the site managers if you happen to be living in a gated community, or provided by the local village or community administration, community groups. Cultural attributes. Yeah, I guess cultural attributes. Same with some of the physical and biological attributes. You can discover those through secondary sources. So, I guess in a sense that I could sort of say that in site planning, I know that we are now located at different parts of different parts of the country. We're all working and interacting remotely, but this exercise shows that you can still conduct a pretty decent and quite comprehensive actually quite comprehensive site surveys, remote surveys. Thanks to I see some of you use different types of sources to get to obtain your topographical maps. You've used, some of you have used Google Lens extensively, and Google Earth and other mapping softwares, and mapping and analysis software and image analysis software. So kudos for you guys for doing that. All in all, this was at least from my point of view, this was a pretty this has been a very quite a successful exercise. Quite a successful exercise, and I'll have to update some of the instructions to avoid a similar confusion in the future. But you guys, all of you have done a very good job at this. So thank you very much for that. And I guess my feedback concludes this our session today. This is taking a bit longer than I had expected. And since this is the 8th week already, I think next week Pak Dewa will take over the class from me. So as far as site planning goes, I won't be seeing you guys in this class for the rest of the semester, but I'm sure that we will still communicate and interact throughout the rest of the semester, because we still have consultation periods for the major group task. Right, so I wish, once again, thank you very much, and I wish you all a very nice day today. And I'll see you in the the consultation sessions and in other classes as well, namely community development and housing and settlement. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.